Will it go down into the jungle for Dark Potato? I think you go under the assumption that it is going to be the weapon Blackfeather in the lane, but don't pick yourself into a hole. Don't pick something that can just be heavily countered by something else if they do decide to switch it up.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, SK picking up the Lyra to give over the Blackfeather is such a risky thing, because getting Blackfeather on B side means that you can save your last pick to flex the Blackfeather pick, and now A side, as SK, they don't know what they're going to be going up against. They can't pick the Rona, for example, and say, okay, we're going to be going up against the weapon power Blackfeather. Probably something that will be safe against either one is the Vox. It can play both against the Blackfeather as weapon power, and it can play against him as a CP.
Yeah, Vox always one of those safer carry picks that can be often picked into most situations, to be quite honest. It's just a very versatile pick, but 15 seconds left to make this decision for SK, and there's a lot of pressure on this decision as well. The Vox does come on through in the end alongside that Lyra, and then we'll see what they grab in the jungle.
Again, the amount of weight on this game, the difference between a 5-point lead and a 3-point lead going into the final week when both teams are on the same half of the bracket is absolutely massive. So this game is incredibly important. That's why SK are taking their time, and they're gonna pull out the Ozo in such an important matchup, putting their faith in the monkey.
We've got some monkey business on our hands, boys and girls. I was about to say they mentioned a pocket pick, but that was G2. That was their opponents. This is SK coming in completely off of the wall.
I mean, I wouldn't say... I mean, sure, they haven't played it too much, SK, the Ozo pick, but it's something that we have been seeing more and more in 2.9, especially over in North America. Very strong, has a lot of sustain with the passive intensified healing, with the bonus healing that comes out. Especially combined with the Lyra sustain she can provide, a very durable frontliner as much as at the same time it brings a lot of damage.
Certainly does. Now G2 trying to figure out where to go with this draft. What do we pick into this Ozo? The answer is going to be Alpha. So again, this melee brawl coming out from G2, and this time going into a Vox and an Ozo and a Lyra for SK Gaming. How do we feel this draft has gone? How do we feel this Ozo fits into everything?
This Ozo fits very well into the Alpha and Blackfeather Arden, because again, they're all going to be grouping up. They're going to be clumped together. Ozo's acro bounces are going to do so much damage. 3-ring Circus is going to hit multiple targets. The Bangrangs are going to displace everybody in the middle of these fights. And then you have Vox, who's just going to be dancing around the outside. So I think SK has a better draft in terms of the head-to-head matchup between these two compositions.
I do agree there. I think it's going to be about Vox surviving long enough, however. So his build, something I'm going to be looking at. If he doesn't build enough defense and he's taking down too quickly, then the Ozo is not going to have enough time to dish out his damage. At the same time, they have a Blackfeather Alpha Arden on the other side with G2, so they have a very strong composition they can work with. So execution in this very last game of the series is going to be crucial.
Yeah, I feel like I'm about to say something opposite to what I used to saying with G2, but they need to be aggressive here. They need to make this this Alpha in the jungle. They need to make SK feel that pressure coming on in. It's time to jump into our third and final game of this final. Everything is on the line for these two teams. Hashtag Vainglory 8. Let us know whether you're supporting G2 or SK Gaming. Who do you want to go to Singapore? We want to know. It's time to pass it over for game number 3.
Thank you very much, Munch. It's game 3, SK versus G2, the decider. The one game that really tells us who is the best in Europe at this current time. And Tyrus has a CP Ozo being played out of the jungle. This is going to be a spicy one for sure. Denomine, I'm incredibly excited to get into the action.
Oh, absolutely. This Ozo, there's going to be a happy humanist in chat looking for Tyrus to make the plays. Hegman is making a good aggressive rotation over. He's got that Imperial Sigil down that will give him that burst of movement speed when it pops. There it goes. And he's just keeping some vision here on the side of G2, looking for that rotation down as Tyras and Cavalifar are going to be looking to head over. Once Ozo hits level 2 in just a second here and gets his acro bounce online, they're going to have a potent pushing power into the side of Hundor, Dark Potato, Canada Koa. As long as he can get the triple acro bounce down, the AoE damage is so massive out of an Ozo, and they are going to be looking to be aggressive. I don't know if Dark Potato can really shut down Tyra's early game here on this Ozo.
Acro bounces onto the face of Hundor and takes a chunk, but we'll be able to get back underneath the turret for safety. You do have that Vanguard, of course, to speed you up, so Hundor, okay for the time being. Is playing a ranged into melee matchup, so we'll struggle a little bit in the laning phase, you have to feel. Takes a lot of poke from Cavalifar, who is known for being very good at capitalizing on mispositioning from his enemy laner. And as I say that, he jumps forward with the Sonic Zoom, and Hundor is down to below 100 HP very quickly. Has to pop the healing flask to get himself back out. Very dangerous for G2 to stay around too long in this lane, especially with Hegman having that sustain up. Well,
not only does Hegman provide sustain to Cavalifar, but because of the Carney luck on Ozo, he actually receives a bonus healing from Lyra as well, which can make him very easy sustainable in these fights. He builds up fortified health with his Acro Bounce. He gets health back with his 3-ring circus as well. If he's doing all of that on top of a Imperial Sigil, he can definitely, you know, stay at very, very healthy situations.
And Hundor so low still. Continually forced back by Cavalifar and Hegman, and eventually he is just going to have to back, because at the moment he's at 1 resonance bounce from dead. Vanguard's in, even jumps forward, the Imperial Sigil! Oh, the final auto isn't quite enough, and Hundor gets away with sub 20 HP, just surviving. Some damage will go down on towards the turret here, as well as Keanu Nakoa is a little bit safer, but SK already in the driving seat in the lane, forcing Hundor back.
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, they weren't able to get the first blood there, but Cavalifar has taken the opportunity now. He's recalled. He's picked up that poison shiv, so that's going to give him some additional sustain, as well as bring down the healing coming out of Keanu Nakoa. So Tyra's looks like he's working into the Aftershock for his first item, and it is a useful item on Ozo, as he's able to proc it several times during a fight. And again, that's just a little bit of additional healing that he's going to get off of that item as well. So keeping a useful amount of burst, as well as some of that sustain for an Ozo as well, can be incredibly threatening.
That it can, and Cavalifar with that poison shiv continues to harass down Hundor and Keanu Nakoa in the lane. Haven't seen much of either of the junglers yet. Not really surprising, as they're both seeming just to stay away from each other, farming up as best as possible. But a lot of this game is going to be decided by how quickly this first turret goes down, you have to feel. If SK can get it relatively soon, and get some, like, one good team fight and then get the turret, you have to feel that they're able just to snowball this game away, because here comes the bang around from Tyra's knockback onto Keanu Nakoa. Probably wants Hundor there instead, but doesn't get him. The SK will just retreat for the time being. Acro bounces back. Dark Potato chunk down 414 damage this early on is absolutely monumental. SK winning out these early fights, healing back up with the Imperial Sigil, and can force G2 further back.
Yeah, looking to do so. They've gotten a decent amount of damage down on this turret. Not anything massive, but I mean, that's health that does not come back, and due to a recent update, that first turret does have 1,000 less health. So that's important to make note of here too. And Hundor recalling, as well as Cavalifar, is going to be looking to complete a Serpent's Mask as quickly as possible on Hundor. He split his build up a little bit, got some attack speed, and Cavalifar coming back. Looks like he's building into a Tyrant's Monocle next. So going to be looking for the critical attacks, as well as multiple attacks in quick succession coming out of this weapon power Vox. And despite it being a weapon power Vox, the crystal damage that comes out of the resonance bounces when you're getting a lot of attacks off actually does add up very quickly in a team fight. I mean, you might be looking at it, okay, that's 30 damage, that's 30 damage. It's not much, but when you get, 30 attacks off in a fight, that bouncing around damage can have a effect. It can be the difference between life and death for Hundor on this Blackfeather.
It definitely can. We've seen Hundor escape on 4 HP already this game. Like, all it takes is 1 extra crit to get that damage in. Lots of crits coming out as well. As Dark Potato jumps forward, does a little bit of a chunk as well. Now has to backpack behind his turret once again, and Dark Potato takes a substantial amount of DPS from Cavalifar. Look at how healthy SK are compared to G2. Like, Dark Potato is on about 200 HP. Hundor's already taken a little bit of chip damage. His turret's down to below half. SK just unrelenting in this pressure in the lane, even using the minion candies to buff up the wave to try and push it in even further. Tyrus does have the Bangarang once again.
Dark Potato living on a knife's edge right now. SK looking to push this wave up and try to get this turret down. Dark Potato does have the termination protocol ready to go. Going to be uses it or not. SK just getting little bits of chip damage here and there, but nobody really committing fully to a fight right now. But G2, they're not quite at their power spikes, and that's important to make note. Hundor does not even have his first tier 3 complete. Dark Potato does, but he doesn't have much defense. Here we go.
Aggro bounce, and Tyrus already gets the infinite reboot out there, looking for the turret first. Imperial Sigil onto all 3 members, and Tyrus is jumping into the midst of them with the 3-ring circus. There's the aggro bounce onto Hundor. Doesn't quite get him with the Bangarang. Aggro bounce comes out afterwards, and there comes the damage out from Cavalifar, yet to be targeted in this fight. The Gauntlet used Keanu, managing to get a kill in response, but Hundor is so low, and Cavalifar will take him down. This might be an ace for SK as they chase in. Hegman there, trying to get the slow up, but Cavalifar takes the turret aggro, and does fall to the turret as well. Ends up being a 2-for-2 trade as Hegman went a little bit too deep on the chase to Keanu Nakoa.
Yeah, pretty much is exactly what happened to Cavalifar. That turret aggro switching, he was already on low health, and 2 shots bring him down. SK was basically given a plate of cookies here, right? So, they take the fight, they take down the turret. They don't need to chase the Arden. It's the captain. He's, got the Vanguard. He gains a little bit of additional health per second because of the passive of Life Spring, as well as his passive Julia's Light as well, or Julia's Gift. So there's no reason to give up an extra kill. Cavalifar, all he needed to do there was say, okay, Keanu Nakoa, you're out. But because you're so low and you cannot contest myself and Hegman, we can rotate down through the jungle, take farm away from Dark Potato. At that point, Hegman's going to have another Imperial Sigil up and ready to go, and you can walk away with everything. And instead, they threw half of their push away.
They did. It's a shame for them, but they are still 2,000 gold ahead, and SK looking for this next turret. It's just a push comp. They're just pushing turret after turret and not allowing G2 a moment's breath, not allowing them a moment's respite to reset. They regen. Back away. The Aftershock is finished onto timers, as we said. There's a fountain on Hegman as well. Maybe even looking for the War Treads next, but could be the Crucible as well. It's the War Treads first. Breaking point now on Cavalifar. He's at 3 completed items. Doesn't have much flat weapon power, but will stack up so quickly throughout a fight with that breaking point.
Yeah, definitely will. Both of them will be able to. Hundor has actually gone with a Poison Shiv and a breaking point for his first 2 items. So it is going to take him a little bit longer to scale up that breaking point than we'd like to see. But Cavalifar already has 3 items complete. He has the Tornado Trigger, the breaking point, and the Poison Shiv. Hundor is going to need to get a Atlas Pauldron. The fight's out.
That it is going in for the all-in engage. The Gauntlet comes out already. We see Cavalifar is dead. There comes the Imperial Sigil as well, and they're just trying to run away. SK on the back foot. Another kill for G2, and G2 looking to solidify that top spot this week against SK. They get the ace. They can take down the Crystal Sentry as well if they want it, or even turn back and just make sure they get that turret.
Yeah, they should be easily able to do it with this ace wave here in the lane. Hundor going to push this one in, and Cavalifar dropped so quickly in that last fight. Cavalifar is your hyper carry. Yes, Tyra's offers a lot of AoE burst damage, but if Cavalifar dies in the first 2 seconds of a fight, we're not going to ever see that breaking point ramp up. So he has to play a little bit more cautious in that backline. And Hundor now has the Atlas Pauldron complete. This is a big spike for G2 here. He has sustain, he has that breaking point that's able to ramp up, and he has the ability, as well as Keanu Nakoa has an Atlas as well, to shut Cavalifar's ability to ramp up in a fight down. So Tyra's, he likely needs to get an Atlas Pauldron as well to kind of help shut down what Hundor is able to do onto the backline, as well as we need to see Hegman creating a safe zone for Cavalifar, preventing both Hundor and G2 from Hundor and Dark Potato of G2 from pushing in onto Cavalifar at the same time. The Bright Bulwark came out a little bit late in that last fight. The damage was already done, and we see G2 take it.
That we do, but SK are still in the lead in terms of gold, 500 ahead. Dragon's Eye finished on both the junglers now. They both got the Aftershock Dragon's Eye combo. Hundor looking to stack up his breaking point. Atlas on him as well to try and shut down Kvalifar. Kvalifar, really, if he doesn't get those breaking point stacks up, is not going to have the damage that he wants in these fights. It's not a heavy weapon power build at all. Hegman is looking to get his Echo, but he's still a little bit of a way away. Jumps in with the Bright Bulwark, hits the Bangarang, knocks back onto Dark Potato. Aqua Bounce as well, used by Tyrus. That's a lot of damage on towards the Alphabet. He gets the Termination Protocol off. The Silence comes out. Look at that onto Kvalifar. They're able to get him out already. Aqua Bounce to Aqua Bounce, but I'm not sure that they have the damage to follow this up. G2 with 2 kills are chasing Hegman towards the middle of the map as well, and Hegman will eventually fall. Another ace for G2. They played that incredibly well.
They absolutely did, and one of the key moments of that fight was the Termination Protocol was able to get directly onto Kvalifar, chunking him down low enough for Hundor to finish him off, even while Dark Potato was in that infinite reboot. And now Kvalifar is trying to stop this lane push, but the Ace Minions are a little bit too strong. He's building up breaking point stacks, but I don't know if they're going to be able to get the kill here. Bangering's out.
Hundor is dead. Good stuff from SK. Once again, we see G2 overextending ever so slightly after getting an ace. We saw it in the last game as well, but still SK on the back foot after they've just lost 2 clean ace fights. And G2 very much willing to take these next trades. No Bangarang up for Tyrus, but he can Acro bounce forward, looking for the damage onto Keanu, going for the Crystal Sentry as well as Kvalifar is there. The SK will settle themselves with this Crystal Sentry. Gets them back to even pegging in terms of gold. These last 2 fights have not been in their favor at all.
They have not, and Hundor may have given his life, but if you look at the actual benefit that G2 got off of it, he stayed around long enough to get a turret. While his team was down in the jungle, they secure a gold mine for 350 apiece on top of the turret gold, as well as the objective advantage there in the lane. So giving up 1 life for that, by all means, this is a win all day for G2 Esports. The Ozo not having the effect we would like to see because Kvalifar is just dropping so fast. Might be a little bit different now that he has a Metal Jacket complete, but if Kvalifar is dropping very early on in the fights, again, there's just nothing that Tyraz is going to be able to do to carry out a fight there at the end. He does have the Dragon's Eye complete now, so his damage is going to ramp up. But it's not the same as a Vox ramping up breaking point or a Black Feather ramping up that breaking point.
Not at all. G2 now the ones on the front foot in this fight as they continue to push into SK's faces. I'm interested to see how well Kvalifar is able to get breaking point stacks now that armor has been completed on Keanu, Hundor, and Dark Potato. They all have an Atlas Pauldron. They all have that ability to slow his attack speed. And he's very reliant on getting as many attacks off as possible so that he can actually build up that weapon power, because otherwise it's not going to be able to shred through this front line at all, even with the resonance bounces. There's the gold mine being started up by G2. Looks like SK don't really have the positioning to fight this, but Ekman is coming in. Can use that Arcane Passage forwards, of course. There's the Aqua Bounce as well. Good Gauntlet will separate the team. It's onto Kvalifar, yet to get an attack off. There's the wait for it. Jumps in onto him by Hundor. That Black Feather doing work. Tyrus is low. G2 winning out this fight thus far. They've already got 1. They're looking for more. And the breaking point stacks just aren't enough for Kvalifar. Only got to 11 that fight. And G2, look at them. Hundor is on 18, 19, 20 now. And he gets another ace for G2. That's the 3rd in the row just as the Kraken spawns. G2 in such a strong position this game.
And this is a nightmare for the side of SK. G2 gonna get another turret off this push in the lane by Hundor here. He's got a Rose offensive charge this time around to get out of the danger zone, as now Tyros is coming back in. Meanwhile, it's obviously Keanu Nakoa and Dark Potato going ahead, starting up that Kraken. Hundor is going to come down, regroup with them, and help finish off this Kraken. And there's only 2 turrets now that stand between G2 and a victory. SK are on the run, though. Can they get a miracle steal? They see Hundor.
That they do, looking for the steal. Can they get it? The Kraken not captured yet. G2 unable to get that. They have broken, of course, that choke turret, but they would have liked to get the Kraken off that as well. There's a 3,000 gold lead for them. 2.5, not quite 3, but still a substantial lead at this point in the game. And it's been a much quicker game than some of the ones across the course of the day. 16 minutes in, we are looking like we might have a winner crowned relatively soon, unless SK can somehow pull a rabbit out of the hat. find a way back into this game because G2 have looked so strong with 3 consecutive clean aces against SK.
Yeah, it's been a long day here for EU, but this is the last game. This particular series will not be the decider. We will have to wait until next weekend, but G2 looking poised right now to getting an additional point this week, as well as denying SK the second point here in the finals as well. And that's, huge for them moving forward. And, looking at where we're at in the game right now, Kvalifar just does not have the damage to deal with what G2's able to put out. Obviously, Dark Potato and Hundo are able to get onto him pretty consistently, and they're able to drop him. In the last fight, it was actually Tyra's that did drop first because he went a little bit too far out, and with that Bangarang at least. Now, they are going to have to look for another fight here. Kraken's on the board. Whatever team wins this next fight is going to win probably the game.
All in onto Hegman. The gauntlet comes out. There's the second one as well. Kvalifar trying to dodge off towards the side. 8 breaking point stacks. He needs to get that up to higher numbers. The Arcane Passage used the damage onto Kvalifar already. He is dead. And this is so good for G2. Once again, they can just chase in. It's a double for Hundo, who has been absolutely godlike today. Looking for the triple onto Hegman. Will secure it as well. They'll get their 4th ace in a row. And G2 looking to close out this game. Only 2 crystal turrets between them and winning this week of EU and keeping their chances at the world spot alive. They will take down the crystal turrets. They'll take down the crystal, and they will take down SK 2-1.
G2 make an amazing game 3 here. They are not in first place off of this victory, but they are in a position where if they win next week and SK is denied some points, then they definitely can really start to take things off. They could be in contention for that world spot. And with performances like they had today, I have to say I am incredibly excited to look forward to their matches for